as God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
Your thoughts?
What? What? Who?
Nice.
CJ Nasello, it's Our Daily Show on this 28th day of November. All of you are preparing your meals, or if you're like me, somebody else has prepared it for you, and that's okay too. Your company is valued. Hey, we got a great Thanksgiving show for all of you. We're going to be talking to Lee Cox, Alton Little Theater. It is the last Thursday of the month, and they got a ton to talk about. So they're going to join us and fill us in on all of that and so much more. But then at 10 o'clock, we're talking to Mark Fusel with Pup Kitchen, but also a really cool or nonprofit organization. You know, you've seen apps like Calm. Mark's developed something here locally that also is national on an app form, but it really started here locally, and it's called Take 2 Minutes. It's all about your mental well-being and all of that good stuff, especially around the holidays. I thought, what better time than to have this interview? I got my dog Nico in the studio this morning on this holiday morning. We're having some fun. We're going to go right into our conversation with Lee Cox now, and we'll have some more fun on this Thanksgiving morning. You're listening to Our Daily Show with me, CJ Nasello, on RiverBender.com and Roku TV. We'll head right in. Theater Thursday. It starts now. Featuring Nico. The last Thursday of the month, well, it falls on Thanksgiving, and it belongs to Alton Little Theater, Lee Cox, Kevin Frakes. How are we doing today, gang?
We're doing great. How about you?
Well, you guys should be doing great. What a couple of months you guys have had.
We're always pretty busy.
Well, you know, especially now at this time of the year, Lee and I have been talking about A Christmas Carol, and I'm not going to lie, a couple of weeks ago I tooted the horn of all of us because you guys sold out pretty much all of the upcoming shows, had to add an additional date.
We did.
And that means that folks are ready for this one to get going.
Yeah, we were real excited about it. And even though it's close to Christmas, we were a little worried about that. But boy, the crowd has come out for us. So it's exciting. It really is. The cast is great. It's going to be a great show.
Well, and too, coming up, Best of the Best Broadway, which is this weekend, is already so, or was it last weekend?
We just did it.
Oh.
We just did it.
Well, it shows you where I'm at. But that was sold out too.
It was glorious. It was oversold because, you know, the grandmothers who call and say, but I need to come hear my granddaughter sing. I don't say no very easily. So we got 56 people in that foyer.
It's incredible.
Both Saturday night and Sunday.
Well, and I started off this segment that way because, I mean, all year has just been fantastic. Yes. I mean, Making God Laugh and Rocky Horror and to Best of the Best, now A Christmas Carol,
and
Kevin.
Did Oliver.
Oh, and Oliver was fantastic.
Yeah.
How did
really
you...
started, it really felt like the comeback, like people were discovering, yes, they're still there, doing great theater.
Well, and Kevin, you know, from building the set of Oliver now to building the set of A Christmas Carol, what has been the amount of time that you've spent tearing down and building sets, do you think?
I spend hours. Tearing down is not too bad because usually it's the cast that's in the show, and we all stay and we tear the set down. But then I start Monday and I start building for the next one. And this one is huge. I've been building wall to wall. and you won't even see a curtain. Our normal curtain, it's gone, and it's
Wow.
it's actual wall. To wall.
it is wall to wall.
Yeah, it's actual wall to wall.
44 feet.
Yeah.
44 feet. Yeah.
So, and I'm almost done with it. I was there.
That's going to look beautiful.
It does.
It does. It's going to be kind of cool because it just kind of flows from one scene to the other and just kind of moves around, and it's going to be a big light show, and it's going to be fun.
Well, and too, I mean, this is, something we've been talking about, and I hate bringing it up, but is your last time at the helm of Alton Little Theater.
This is my last show. Yeah, I've been talking about it for a while, and now it's here. And I've got a great cast, and we will close on the 22nd, and we'll do strike, and I'll be done.
Did you ever think that A Christmas Carol would be your last one?
No, I had no idea at that point. I had no idea.
Right.
When we start talking about it, I did pick the show because I know the crowd loves Christmas stuff. Last year we did a Christmas concert, and we filled the place on that. And we've done the Christmas Carol before, but it's been years and years ago. And I thought this is a good time to bring it back, and it's working.
So did you, whenever you guys were booking the year out, did you know that this one was going to be the end or the end of the ride for you?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I did not. Yeah.
Just kind of developed into it.
It just kind of happened that way.
Well, and too, I mean, 50 years almost, or close
to?
to?
A little over 50 years.
It's incredible. Yeah. And then all the time, I mean, it's time to relax.
It is. It's time. My wife has been retired now for a year, and she's been waiting for me. We're going to do some traveling and hopefully, relax a little bit. So.
Well, and honestly, Lee, what's it been like for you too? I mean, the dynamic duo is now on the swan song of this. What's the thoughts that you guys are having?
It's a little bittersweet. I mean, I'm happy for him. He absolutely deserves it, and I counted up because we were talking yesterday about it. That Kevin and I have produced 50 shows together since 2015.
Wow.
Been kind of a team. So, he's tired because he builds all of them.
Mine's more physical.
Yeah, I'd say so.
His part of it is a little more physical, and I think even this one, because I am so impressed that the cast and the director, they agreed to add an extra performance on the 15th at 7:30. So that means they do a full show on Saturday night because it's the first weekend. Then they come back and do it Sunday afternoon. Then they're doing it Saturday night. And some of the parents, Becca shared with me that they said, well, we're not picking up our kids. And so she's like, I have a little money left that you gave me. Can I just get pizzas and things? And I said, of course you can.
It's incredible.
And, I'm going to decorate the foyer Dickens of a Christmas, kind of a Victorian Christmas. And we're having wassail punch and cookies from Kelly at Duke's. Gave us a great job. Because I think from the very beginning, we wanted it to be a family tradition that maybe families and introducing young children to this tale, which is written by John Jakes. So, the essence of it is the same, but it has some things. It would be the perfect time to do that.
Really cool. It's a great idea. Well, and Kevin, do you remember, I mean, just taking us all the way back 50 plus years ago, the first show at Alton Little Theater?
Murder Among Friends, wasn't it? Yeah, Murder Among Friends.
Well, no kidding.
Yeah.
Did you direct
In fact,
that?
Yes, she was in it, actually.
Yes.
You directed it?
Yes.
Were you a good performer?
I was the killer. And
What's new?
What did the one reviewer say? She was a little too Mary Sunshine.
Yeah, that was my first one directed, and I kind of fell into it.
Did you really?
I never attempted to be a director at Little Theater, and I never attempted to be one of the people that ran Little Theater. It wasn't my goal.
How'd you fall into it?
Like I fall into everything. It's like, I've been on the board forever, doing different jobs and stuff. And we were there one time, and I cannot remember exactly what happened, but there's a director that either couldn't direct it, something happened. We had a show, and, so they were saying somebody needs to direct this show, and I'm sitting there and go, well, nobody said anything. I said, well, I'll try. I'll direct. I'll try it. And I went in there and I directed it, and I've been directing ever since.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Did you find a real passion for it right away?
Yeah, it's a different feeling than performing. I always love performing, and it is a totally different feeling because when you create something and you add your little things to it and the audience reacts to it,
Yep.
You're sitting there going, yes, that worked, and stuff. And so it is a totally, and you can't describe it, but it is a totally different feeling when you direct than when you perform.
For sure. Well, and through the years, has there been a show that really stuck out to you as being the one that you're the most proud of?
Yeah, there's been a couple of them. Beauty and the Beast was great, and then The Play That Goes Wrong. I just absolutely love that one because it has so many technical things to it, and it took me over a month to design the set.
Well, you busted your ass. I remember that one. Yeah, we were talking about that one.
And it went off without a hitch, and I was so proud of that one because we could have had a lot of disasters. We could have had a lot of disasters in that show, but the cast was perfect. The set worked every single night. I mean, we had the second floor fall. We had the whole set fall around him at the end of the show.
Well, and then just that to happen.
Yes.
How perfect
Yes.
that has to be placement-wise, because that really could be catastrophic.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody has to be in their spot at the right time because somebody could get really hurt
Big
bad.
time, yeah.
And we had one night where it was close during a rehearsal. One of the guys was laying on the floor, and he just kind of rolled over a little bit, and I yelled just in time, and he rolled back, and that thing came right down. And he's like, oh, I said, you can't move around.
Are you big on, how big are you on safety? I mean, I could only
on
imagine.
safety.
Yeah.
I'm huge on safety. I always build things to support me.
Yeah.
And if it supports me, it usually supports
That's true. I was going to say it. I'm like, I think I know where he's going with
and
it.
so if it supports me and stuff, it usually supports everybody. Even when I did Oliver, we had those staircases going up and down, and I built it to look rickety, and it was really cute because when I took the little boy that played Oliver, I took him in there to show him the set when we were rehearsing. He goes, this thing doesn't look safe. And I said, trust me, it is. I said, it's supposed to look that way. And I got on it and ran up and down it, and he goes, oh, okay. So then he was fine with it. But yeah, I'm real big on that because, that's me. I'm building this stuff, and I don't want anybody to get hurt on my stuff.
Well, and see, that would be my biggest problem, I think, with directing or doing anything in your role is I would be so, paranoid that something would happen. And that's how, you have to be really good at what you're doing building-wise for all of this to work.
Well, I've always been a builder. I've been
Have you been?
I built homes and everything else.
No kidding.
Oh yeah, I was a carpenter my
That's
whole
why his
life.
body's a little
Yeah,
light.
so
And that's why it's time for a rest. Yeah, okay.
So I hung from rafters and everything else. So yeah.
Did you go to school for theater?
No, not really. I mean, I took the normal theater classes in high school and so I walked right out of high school and I started building houses.
That's incredible because you were a police officer too, weren't you?
I was a police officer. I've worked over in St. Louis. I've worked
Volunteer
for
fireman.
was a volunteer fireman for a couple of years. I also worked over in St. Louis for a company called New Space. They build closets and professional offices and stuff and fine woodworking, and then they took over the building all the Build-A-Bear.
You told me that story. That is so cool.
And I did that and traveled around doing that for a long time, but I was always a little theater.
Yeah.
I always spent when I had a job, I still spent at least 20 hours a week or 20 hours a day or 20 hours a week at the theater. I always spent 20 hours a week.
He'd
I always
be there
spent my
11,
time.
12 by himself.
I still built the sets because I'd go in at night and build the sets till 11, 12
Did it
o'clock
help
at
you
night.
having that to kind of fall on, or was it?
Oh yeah, I mean to have the background and everything else. Sure.
Well, no, I mean whenever you're working and all that, did those 20 hours a week? Did it help you think get through the work week, or was
it made me tired?
That's right. Okay, that's fair.
But I mean, people do grow into their talent, but Kevin has always had that vision, that director's name, and he starts 6 months, sometimes a year. When he chooses a show, he starts figuring out how it's going to work. And I share the vision. I can't make it happen because I can't build, but that's why he's the easiest person in the world to work in partnership for a show, because we both get all those elements, and he tells me what he wants.
Yes, the little things that makes the difference.
Yeah, like, see, Violet Sharp, I'm not surprised by the shows he mentioned because, again, I was there for Beauty and the Beast, and I was there for The Play That Goes Wrong. But that detail and the vision of a show that's not written, that has, how are you going to move through time and space with all these historical characters?
Yeah.
But once he told me what his vision was, and then he had that set up in less than a week, and then just doing the costumes and the dressing and helping the lights of that show. I love doing that because then I get to see the show every night.
Right.
And it's magic. I will say that proudly. I think we have created magic together, and we've been the longest producing team there. We've had lots of people come and go, and we've got Eric Sykes coming on, who you met, and we have a new director who is going to work on another musical. So, but I hope people, I want it to be a love fest. He would never like me saying this, but I have told them that I want A Christmas Carol sold out, and I want him to feel the love. And I think you will, from the people who are sad that you're leaving, but they love what you've done. They really, really appreciate that, because I saw it this weekend. Even though he wasn't there, I knew questions were going to come up, and Eric and I, are working really well together. But we both acknowledged you over the weekend.
Well, and that's what I think's so fascinating, is just all the different people that you've worked with and you've helped and you've, been along this ride with in some way, shape, or form. There's got to be hundreds, if not thousands, of folks that you've gotten to kind of work with and shadow over.
Yeah, there's been quite a few, especially the younger ones that we've mentored through the years, and it's gone on.
Yeah.
And it's actually, we've probably got 4 or 5 young people that came through our stage that are working professionally now.
Wow.
In theater, and started out on our stage.
That's incredible.
Which is fun. And every once in a while they'll come to stages, or they'll hit the Fox or Muni, and we all go and we watch them. Say, hey, I performed with them. So, which is fun.
Well, and now have you had some people reach out yet or give you the call and send you a message saying, hey, thanks for dealing with me, during the...
No.
But I think that will still happen. I mean, yesterday we started out the concert, the first set, with what I call the youngins, and so many of them, they were 11, 12, 13 when Kevin and I first cast them. And I'll never forget Corinne Jones, because we were sitting there during an early rehearsal of Wizard of Oz, and I said, you realize we just cast a 13-year-old and she has to carry the show. And he did, and we both had a lot of faith in her, and that my dog would somehow not run away. And I mean, we really helped launch her drive for theater by that show. A
lot of the kids, the younger ones, like to come to Little Theater because we take it so serious. And it's such a step up from what they're used to doing. And they also like to be in shows with adults.
Yeah, well, I think that was the problem. And I don't know a lot about this. It just seemed like there was, not you guys, but there was other groups that were around for like performing arts and stuff, where it seemed like it was kind of like a park and rec, or not as serious of an occasion. And it didn't get younger people really engaged like a club sports team would for somebody to move on in high school sports, just like it would for high school performing arts and college and professional.
Well, I always look at it. I mean, I think it's great that people put on kids shows.
Yeah.
But you put it on the best of your ability, and you make the kids do what they're supposed to do and teach them theater, not just throw them in a show and try and make money off of them. You really try and do the best you can. And that's what we've always done at Little Theater. I mean, I don't care who's in it. We try and bring you up to a different level.
Well, you make a good point, too, because, the whole thing is that so many people have is, are we able to accomplish this? Well, we don't have, 150 square feet of stage, or we don't have 1,000 square feet of stage. But whenever you have a pride about your work and you have the knowledge and the background, it doesn't matter. You can have that professionalism in any venue, and it shows through at Alton Little Theater. And I think that's why we're here now.
I do. I think that's what's made it last through the years.
100%
because, I've had so so many people come up to me, and they've come up to Lee and stuff and said they stopped going over to St. Louis.
Yeah.
They stopped buying the big tickets over there, and they said Little Theater is our theater now. And they come to us because they say we see stuff here. Sometimes it's better than other places. And we try to keep that standard.
You're right. I mean, it really is. It's not any interpretation one may or may not have of a little theater is out the window when they go to a show. And you can tell that, too, from the performers, because you guys have so many great ones that come in and really want to be on these stages and these playbills, too.
But like Kevin, I love that the kids, because we never, when we were growing up, some of the people didn't really like children, and we didn't have a real atmosphere of that. And we've changed that. We have totally changed that. And because Kevin and I have taught classes, and with Oliver in particular, I just love seeing how many of those kids have come back and then auditioned for Christmas Carol. And because I watched the first set when we had them at 11, 12, 13, and now they're all in college and they're young adults, and that is part of our legacy.
Yeah,
I
when
think.
we go out, when we do our shows like Beauty and the Beast or Shrek or something like that, all the kids, we try and get the kids, and we lower the pricing for the kids because we want kids in our theater. And what really was cool is one of the performances we walked out, and we always sell ice cream on those kind of shows, and there was a whole circle of young kids sitting right in the middle of the lobby. They didn't know each other, but they were all sitting there talking to each other and eating ice cream.
That's what it's all about,
Yeah.
truthfully.
Yeah, it is.
I love it.
It is.
You guys got a moment to stick around?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Thanksgiving continues right after this quick break in the heart of the 618.
Ready for fantastic deals? Head to Village Dispensary, where every day is a celebration. Start your week with 25% off Dog Walker pre-rolls on Monday. Tuesday, enjoy 25% off Divs gummies. On Wednesday, enjoy 30% off Nevada pens. On Thursday, it's 30% off CQ sodas, margaritas, and more. Friday, enjoy 3.5 grams of Megatron by NGW and Cronuts number 4 by Paul Bunyan for $25. Visit villagedispo.com and shop now.
Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Do you need to declutter your space? Time to call me, the Queen of Junk. Since 1993, we have grown to be the leader in residential, commercial, and property management junk removal. At Sparks Junk Removal, we are eco-friendly. We recycle, donate, or repurpose items back into our community. Trash is our last resort to the landfill. Plus, with our all-inclusive service, our crews handle everything from labor to lifting and landfill fees. Give us a call or visit our website, sparksjunkremoval.net, to reclaim your space today.
Looking for the best barbecue in Madison County? Head over to Carver's Barbecue in Godfrey, Illinois. From loaded barbecue nachos to
I've got a song, I ain't got no melody. I'm gonna sing it to my friends when I go round in circles.
Welcome back. Thanksgiving Thursday belongs to Theater Thursday. So, let's talk tickets. How many are left, actually? Do we know?
Yes, we ended up adding another show. It's on the 15th. It's Sunday, because we always have a Sunday matinee, which is already sold out. So we added another show that evening, and we have 30 seats left. That's it.
That's incredible.
So please help us out. Yes.
For the run of the show.
That is just absolutely incredible. So 30 of you can go to A Christmas Carol the final showing of Kevin Frakes at the director's chair. Well, and I got to ask you, is there anything that you're like looking to see in your final show, or are you just there for the ride?
Pretty much there for. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
a normal show to me.
Okay.
It's just you're always trying to do the best you can with what you have, and I did go a little crazy on the set.
That's what I figured you would.
Yeah.
It's the last one. You might as well have fun.
I think there might be some surprises for the ghost that come in and show up. So a little bit of magic here and there. So that'll be fun.
I love this.
25 in the cast and
There's a lot of new people.
and seasoned
Wow.
actors and
I
yes,
always
some
love new
youngsters.
people.
Yeah. So
That's incredible.
I love that. I mean, because you had so many people audition, and you always wonder in December, oh, will we get people? But I know people wanted the show and they wanted to work with Kevin, and I'm thrilled about that.
Well, and there was a couple different Christmas carols out there. So I was reading all of them and looking at all of them, and I was really considering the musical because I'm a musical guy.
I do like the musical too.
And I didn't care for it. Oh, it's the same show, but I didn't care for the music.
Yeah.
And I kept listening to it, and it just, to me, it was just like you had a great show, and they just threw this music in.
Gotcha.
And
You're right.
So
yeah.
I thought, well, I'm just going to go back to the traditional one, and that's what I did. I
like this interpretation, this version of the Christmas Carol because we go into a little bit more of the ghosts, correct?
Yes, and you have Charles Dickens that actually narrates the show. He actually walks out and introduces himself and walks out and starts talking about the show, and he is in the show off and on. In fact, he even puts himself in once in a while and then takes himself back out, which is different. And there's a lot of different ways to do this show. In the book, it says you can do it in a black box or you can do a traditional set. I did kind of both.
Really?
Yeah. So it's kind of a combination of both, and it'll flow from one scene to another with the flair of a black box, but it has more to it. So it's like a step up or step one or two up from a black box.
Wow. Now, and is there any set changes with it?
Yes, because they do. Because I also use the middle of the set.
That's what I was curious about.
The stage, and they bring things in there.
Okay.
But I have 3 different levels and 3 different areas that they go to.
Oh God. Well, there we go. That'll be fun. So, has there been any disconnect for the performers? Are they learning the set pretty well?
They couldn't wait to get on the set because you know how it is.
Yeah.
And we started out in the lobby. Of course, I try and get them in there as soon as we can.
Right.
And even though I tell them, you're going to have stairs here, it's hard to do until they actually get it. So I was really working fast and really hard to get this done because the sooner you get it done, the more the actors get used to it, and because there's one level that's pretty high.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, and Lee, you were talking about 12 Days of Christmas during this going on too. So a great way to tie this in is we got more giveaways. How was the Tim Curry contest?
Oh, it was wonderful. A local woman won, and we raised $850, and she was thrilled to have a signed Tim Curry
You had
photograph.
450 entries?
Yeah.
God, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That was easy math. I mean, I'm not a math expert. I just knew that I played enough $5 denomination machines to know how that one breaks down,
So that was great. But we wanted the holidays, of course, to be merry and bright. And because the show is very near Christmas and the theater is all decorated, we decided to do the 12 Days of Christmas. But really, we're doing it because we'd like to raise just a little bit more money because we now have our 3-show package so they can see the January, March, and May show. We always do that in December. But we also have 2 extra concerts coming up, one right after the New Year and then one March 1st and 2nd. So if they purchase either or both of those, and then we have the studio series. And then this is the time that we sell our gift certificates with beautiful holiday cards so they can come in and do their shopping while they're seeing the show. And of course, end of the year giving. So any contribution to the theater between December 13th and December 22nd, they all get entered into a raffle, and we'll pick a name every single day. It's not very likely that they'll be at the show, but we'll announce at intermission who the winner is.
Once in a while.
Yeah, and we got some lovely donations, but I just think it's a little fun way to help, and I think the kids in particular will like some of the gifts.
Really, I'm nosy. What are some of the gifts?
Well, I don't want to tell you. Well, I will tell you.
Give me one.
Well, I do 12 different specialty cookies for my cookies. For my family and friends and everybody. So I got 2 extra 10s of
That's cool.
those. We go around, and Sam's Club actually had some really good deals. But I'm always online looking and ordering. And then we went to Alton Exchange for some of the Dickens things, the lace, the Victorian lace, some of those kind of things. So we have some Victorian touches, some cookies, some wonderful gift baskets and things like that. So I think it'll be fun.
That's really cool. I love this a lot. Yeah. Well, it seems like only 30 more of you have the chance to be a part of this too, because you have to be a part of the show to be a part of the entries. Okay.
Well, you can come in though, see.
That's what I was asking.
You can buy the 3-show package, buy a gift certificate. Oh, I sorted all the cards yesterday. That was the last thing I did. Michael was like, "When are we going home?" And I said, "I have to be ready in case people come in tomorrow and want to buy a gift certificate."
Well, and think about this. I mean, gift options. Sing in the New Year, just $25 for those tickets, or get that season pass for the 3-show pass, $60. You can't beat that at all. I mean, seriously, you can't. There are gift certificates available in any denomination. The Studio Series extra event. You got to be a part of this. This is going to be 12 Days of Christmas. Purchase any ticket between December 13th and the 22nd and be a part of the fun.
Yeah.
There you go.
Always for the concerts, we try and do something a little extra special, but for Sing in the New Year, which is on Saturday the 4th at 2, first of all, Thomas M. Taylor blew everybody away at the concert. Good. It was so well received. And he and Eric Sykes sang together 20 years ago. I had no knowledge of this when I hired Thomas. And Thomas's mother was their vocal teacher.
Oh, that's cool.
So we're going to have a little reception after his concert, just because Thomas likes to talk to people, and also because Eric will officially be the executive director then. And I want to make sure that, ALT people who come, that they really feel comfortable and get to know both of them. So we're going to have the concert and then a little reception in the foyer on the 4th of January.
Do you have your curtain speech figured out yet?
I'm not doing it.
He's not doing it.
Oh, no way!
Eric's going to do it. Eric's
going to do it, and then I was just planning out, he's going to do it, talk a little bit about me, and then he's going to introduce me, and I'm going to walk out, and then I'm going to introduce the show. That's it.
That's it? Mm-hmm. Well, and honestly, that's what it's cool how you're doing this, man, because it's kind of like in pro wrestling, everyone goes out on their back, and there's not pomp and circumstance, and it's just another day you pick up and you keep going. And I love that about it, because for 50 years, that's what you did.
Yeah, that's what I've done.
Has there been one show that always haunts you? Now that we're at this point in the game, is there one show that you're like, that just, if you wake up in a cold sweat at night, that's what you were dreaming about?
Bell Book and Candle.
See, I knew what it was.
What was it about? What happened?
It's about witches, actually, and stuff. And
you had one.
And I had one. No, but I just, we all have that one person sometimes that we shouldn't have cast.
And on top of it, the cat got loose, and they're like, "You go tell him." And so he had to climb under the stage and get the cat during the show. And I was like, "Oh God!"
But that was early on too. That was early on in my career.
Oh my God!
I just, it's just. You get a level, you want, people start here, you want them here. And most of the time you can get them in here. She got here. And she just couldn't grow any farther. And it is what it is. And you just go with it. And it's,
mine was Our Town. I mean, literally, I think we both have that ability to recognize the it factor in people, but I made that one mistake. I knew what his was.
Well, see, I've changed my way of for tryouts, because cold readings are just one thing. Cold readings, some people are really good at it, and they're not good actors.
It's like American Idol, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then some people are horrible at it, but they're great actors.
Yeah.
So what I do now is, or what I used to do, is I'll get them up and they do improv.
I like that.
And you can tell.
These people, and I've had people that are horrible cold readers that got up and just shined in there, and I would cast them then because that's what I want. And so, and vice versa a lot of times. So it's I've changed that through the years, and it's really helped me, especially people that I don't know.
Yeah.
You get them up there, and you can right away see who the leaders are and who's somebody that can handle themselves well with other people and can think quick on their feet and just take over the situation. And a lot of people can't do that.
Well, no.
Or they have the arrogance. That's the other
Yes.
thing.
Oh, yes.
Neither one of us tolerate that too well. Leadership is one thing, but instilling that discipline, which we had instilled in us when we were very young by Dorothy, but a lot of groups don't have very many rehearsals and just don't really instill the quality that we want. So he's real upfront about 5 nights a week, and I do 4 and 5 sometimes, and we still get some guff about that.
Well, and I tell them there's a door.
Yeah. But it shows. I mean, it was so wonderful to have that mutual support because it worked. And we knew it worked because we were the products of that system. We've both been performers. He's been a singer forever.
Right.
And it helps. I mean, you are over prepared, and we both sometimes will give them a night off towards the end because we know they're over prepared.
Well, and now with that being said, we have a couple of seconds left here. 30 tickets left for the 15th show, and is that
but actually by the time we get back to the
probably
theater,
not
maybe
going to
not.
be? Yeah, probably not. And with any other tickets outside of the 15th for a Christmas Carol?
None. We are oversold.
Oh my goodness.
Oversold.
Well, that's a big congratulations.
We'll be setting up seats,
And then, folks, if you're just tuning in too, go stop by Alton Little Theater. If you didn't get tickets, that's okay. Stop by and be a part of the 12 Days of Christmas giveaway by buying those 3-pack of shows for $60 for the next 3 shows in January, plus some other great opportunities such as the Singing in the New Year, Bobby Darin and Friends, and you're entered into those really cool raffles. And Kevin, the floor is yours, Senator. What's on your mind as you're wrapping up this chapter?
I just, I would like to thank everybody that's been involved all these years that's either been in my show or worked in his show for me. It's it's been a great ride.
Well, and Kevin, it's been great to get to know you. You're always welcome back in the studio. And all I know is the first time I saw you, I went, holy hell, that guy could kick my ass. And now I know that you're just a nice guy because you're a big guy. You're intimidating on the stage.
That's what everybody says.
But then whenever I talk to you, right away I'm like, no wonder everyone loved you and everyone loved to work with you. And seriously, the best of luck with you. Go have fun and travel with the missus. You guys deserve it.
Thank you.
We'll take a quick break here on this thing. Oh, what are you cooking for Thanksgiving? It is Thanksgiving.
Oh, we do the normal stuff.
Or who's the cooker? Are you the cooker?
She actually does the Thanksgiving
That's
stuff.
her-
actually.
that's one of her
she
faves,
shines
yeah.
on that. Yeah, she does really well.
See,
I usually cook most of the time, but she takes over during this, and she
They had
cooks
us over
everything.
one year. Yeah, she loves it.
Now,
Yeah.
are you a turkey cooker too, Lee?
I am.
You see, what I think should be, if I ever was president, my one big law would be that if you have a dry turkey, it's 15 days in county jail.
We've never had that. We've never had a dry one.
You can come to either place. And we're really into the traditions and the great things.
Seriously, Kevin, thank you so much again. Get the final 30 tickets to the swan song of Kevin Frakes' 50-plus years at Alton Little Theater, making it a staple in the community with that dynamic duo over there. We'll take a quick break. 618-462-3205 is the number for the box office, or altonlittletheater.org.
Looking for the best barbecue in Madison County? Head over to Carver's Barbecue in Godfrey, Illinois. From loaded barbecue nachos to mouth-watering pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more, Carver's serves up award-winning flavors you'll love. Family-owned, Carver's is all about fresh, made in-house dishes served daily. Come visit us at 2716 Groveland in Godfrey, or give us a call at 618-467-9999. Order online, get it catered, or stop by for the best smoked meats around. Where great flavors meet family tradition, you'll find Carver's Barbecue.
Get paid to go solar.
We're not solar bros. At Grid, we're solar pros. We explain the process behind solar power so you can make an informed decision. We'll work with you to make owning your power as simple as possible and affordable with zero down financing and payment options. Our only goal is to save you money. Call Grid when you're ready to be independent of the power company.
We are Phillips 66 Wood River Refinery. We make the fuels that take us to work and our children to school. We make materials and energy products that allow us to stay connected to each other. We care about the quality and safety of our products because we care about the communities we share. Our employees live our values of safety, honor, and a commitment to act as good neighbors where we live and operate. We are Phillips 66.
I just got a new air conditioner. Top of the line.
I bet mine's better. It's so efficient and quiet, I hardly know it's running.
I've got you both trumped. I've got a Linux.
So do I.
Barrett Heating and Cooling carries Linux products to meet any budget. Don't gamble with your energy dollars. Call Barrett Heating and Cooling and start saving today.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
She was shaking, snapping her fingers. She was moving round and round. That girl was shaking. Started drinking, weren't thinking too straight.
Welcome back. Daily Show hitting you right here at 9:19. Harvey, welcome in.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So, really excited. We were just chatting it up a little bit. Before we even talk about the concert, happy retirement, Harvey.
Well, thank you. It's about time.
Well, you know, honestly, I've always heard every retired person I've had come on the show, they say really being retired means you just work for free.
Yes, you're exactly right. I anticipate I'll be much busier in 2025 than I ever have been.
Really cool. Well, Harvey, you and I were talking on the phone a couple of days ago, and That's What Friends Are For is a really cool concert coming up December the 8th to raise money for 2 not-for-profit organizations. But the story of really how this came together, and just hearing a little bit of it is so fascinating. And where do we start?
Wherever you want to. It's your show.
You were talking about your grandpa, and really, I think that's where we start this, because really when we get to where the concert is now and how this all developed, I think there's no better way than starting with the backstory. So fill me in on your grandfather a little bit and the reason leading up to this event.
Great. My grandpa Rader was born in 1891. He came over here at the age of 5 with his mother from Baden-Baden, Germany. Speaking, of course, no English. They came across the boat on steerage and came in through Ellis Island. They met his father, who had come several years earlier to Lima, Ohio, to buy farmland. So Grandpa moved there, and in the 5th grade dropped out of school to work full-time on the farm with his dad. Over time period, he developed his own farm business and became quite successful in that. But his earliest memories were of standing in their farmhouse in Lima, Ohio, watching the Ku Klux Klan burn crosses in their yard because they were German.
Wow.
And then as Grandpa started his own farm business and grew it, he hired an African-American from Lima. Jacob, too, had Ku Klux Klan crosses burned in his yard because he was black. So he hired Jacob. Jacob wanted to start his own business but couldn't get banking or funding to do that, and it was not safe. So my grandpa said he would fund the startup business, but that Jacob's name couldn't be on it publicly or face. So my grandpa and his brother Matthew took Jacob's business plan. At the time, you could buy or lease individual oil pumping wells in Findlay, Ohio area because Standard Oil didn't have the huge refineries that they had. Mm-hmm. So Jacob's plan was to lease a number of these and convert them into moneymakers. My grandpa liked his business plan. Even though Grandpa left school in the 5th grade, he was a very fine businessman, very good with math. So they sat down together, they drew up informal paperwork, and so black and white oil was started, and the people in Lima thought black was for crude oil.
Right.
Okay, and so they proceeded. No one knew. It grew and grew, and Jacob reported to work every day as if he were an employee. And then in the late 50s, early 60s, my grandpa, who was then nearly 90, decided to sell his farm to the local school district. So at that time, they learned that he didn't own this oil company, that Jacob did. So Grandpa moved before I was born. He moved into a mobile home behind my parents' house. And that's where really I got to know him because, again, he was 80 when I was born.
Oh, wow.
I'm a long-lived family. His wife had passed years before that, and he had never remarried. So on the living room floor, my grandpa's mobile home, watching the black and white television, he would tell stories, a number of stories. But this story is just shocked me because we were watching a documentary on World War II, and the story unfolded. So Nick and I met because when I came to Alton, my not-for-profit had leased the old convent on Danforth. My plan was to build an international school there. It fit everything because I've been in education and business for 40 years. And so we were just on the verge of being able to open the Center for the Performing Arts when I had major medical accident, major concussion, open heart surgery, and had to step back from everything.
Wow.
So Nick was on the planning board of this because of his work in urban agriculture. He was going to come out here and work, and we were going to help him establish an aquaculture and hydroponic facility in the old laundry room. And that way he would have food year-round in North County because right at that point they didn't have that facility.
Right, no, totally.
So because his operation there started to train young African Americans in urban agriculture and farming. Many Americans don't realize the number black farmers that there were. And he works now with a handful, but his not-for-profit is now expanding, and they're raising money for scholarships for students to go through the program because they get paid to work as a part of this.
Right.
And so we stepped in together. I called him. I said, hey, I'm going to retire. We can't revive the school, but what about this? So he said, yep. And he is supposed to be here today, but he's tied up in traffic.
Hey, I get it, man.
Yeah.
I had to drive that all day for work for 6 years. It's a nightmare over there. It's a war zone.
And he has 2 kids, dropping him off at daycare. So I hope he appears.
Well, I think it's one of those things where it's just, to hear the backstory, and that story of, you on Grandpa's living room floor, on the trailer watching black and white television, and now to see you working with an organization that really does fit the need of what your grandpa did, 100 years ago. It's really fat. That's why I wanted you to start with that story, because, that's really such the perfect full circle moment, I think,
And it hit me as I was preparing for this. I thought, what a great way, to do that, because of my grandpa.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, and now December the 8th is the day of the concert.
Right.
What time does it start?
3:00 in the afternoon.
Really cool.
It's at St. Paul's United Methodist Church. Former students, friends, and colleagues from all over the country and actually the world are coming in to perform.
Oh, wow.
Locally, we have Marge Handy from St. Louis. Marge is a gifted singer and actress. She's currently starring in Anastasia at Tesseract Theater, but she's won awards for her film work, gifted jazz singer. She is doing a couple of numbers of this concert, a setting of And So It Goes, with my attorney, who's a jazz pianist, and her, and then she's doing several other pieces.
I heard that that's the best jazz pianist in the area. I heard there's nobody better.
Oh, Randy's amazing.
Well, you got to, because he's your attorney. That's why I was really buttering him up there. No.
Thank you. And he'll appreciate that, too. And then a new friend, Ty Davis from St. Louis, who's a gifted cellist, artist, and also chef.
Wow.
He's going to join us.
Renaissance man.
Really is. He's going to join us in playing a cello piece by Saint-Saëns called The Swan. And then he's going to be the caterer for a private dinner on Friday night for my friends who are coming in out of town. So I've got friends from California, from Wichita, musicians from the area, and we're doing all different kinds of music. You'll hear a setting of How Am I Supposed to Live Without You, reggae style, and a number of things.
Well, and that's what I think is so unique about this event, because it ties in a lot of different pieces of not only your life and a little bit of your family story too, and also helping the community. It also is closing the chapter in a way for you, and that's what I think. What better way to call it the retirement concert, even though you're still going to be playing. I know that and all that, but for all your career, the book's closing.
Well, and I wouldn't have done this except last Christmas I had a stroke in my right eye.
Yeah.
And began to go blind, and now I'm completely blind in that eye.
Wow.
So reading a piano score is a challenge. So I thought, well, now's a good time to move on to other things. So
What are your thoughts right now as you're kind of heading into this? Is there any bittersweetness to it, or is it just kind of just more anticipation than anything else and excitement?
It's joy to have had a career that I never intended to have. I went into music and not ever going to teach. My parents said they would not pay for a degree unless I had a teaching license. But I went to my advisor and I said, I'm not getting a teaching degree. How do I appease my parents? So I got my bachelor's in music, and they took enough classes in those days to get certified, and then had a horrible student teaching experience in Toledo, Ohio. I mean, just god awful.
Can I ask how? Was it like with that movie with Chaffetz, where it was like high in high school?
Oh, no, it was even worse.
No way.
Because I think the guy they assigned me to was high in the classroom.
Oh, no.
So I walked in, and it was chaos. I mean, just chaos. And he's sitting reading the newspaper, and I introduced myself. Oh, he said, yeah, I forgot you were coming. He handed me his books, his keys, and said, I'll see you in 16 minutes.
No way.
I'm serious. And you need to know, I came out of the womb direct. So I said, oh, heavens, no. Here are your keys. Here's your book. I'm out of here. Went back to my advisor, who said, Harvey, this is 1976. We don't have any place to put you because the teaching profession was packed at that time.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I said, you owe me. I said, I came here 3 years ago. I'm the first person to ever get this degree in 3 years. You owe me. Well, Jim was my height, about 5'2", and I said, come on, from one short guy to another. He laughed, and he found me Van Wert, Ohio, and a man named L.W. Schaufelberger. L.W. Schaufelberger and him were classmates in college and fraternity brothers. So LW said, I'll take him. I don't want to, but I'll take him. So I walk into this huge high school, and I had 55 people in my graduating class.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I walked into Van Wert High School, and there were 400 people in the senior class.
Yeah.
So I walked in. LW was professional. He would sat with me and said, I'll have you start here. And he said, you'll never direct the top choirs, but I'll give you the beginning choirs, and we'll be okay. Well, he learned I played the piano, and he and I began to hit it off. And I sat down because they had a staff pianist who was sick, and I sat down and played it. And he went, oh, you're a really good musician. I said, thank you. He said, I didn't know a thing about you. Jim just said I owed him a favor, and I did. And so that 16-week period transformed me.
Yeah.
LW was a gifted teacher. So as we went along, he said, well, I'm going to give you a piece to do with the advanced choir and then the sophomore choir. And I learned how to get along with kids, to be in charge, but to be friends. So the sophomore choir there was the love of my life. But my last day there, they were preparing for graduation, and they opened the school theme song, and I was to direct it, and they set me up. Mr. Middleton was there. It was my final observation. I gave the downbeat, and they sang, oh, leprechaun, we love you so, but we sure wish that you would grow. And I just fell out. So from there, I went, I got to do this. And that took me down that trajectory.
So before we bring Nick into the studio, because he's just made it down here, before we do that, I got to ask you, actually, we'll take a quick break, but when we come back, I want you to think about this. How has teaching evolved throughout the years? Because you guys have something that's so important here. And hey, Nick, hold on one second here. Hold on one second here. This is what I want you to ponder. Is how has teaching evolved through the years, but also how has it been important for you, and how have you been able to keep students engaged with all the changes to music in the industries too? Okay, sure. Let's think about that. 9:32, more conversations hit you next.
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof, because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready, future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
Ready for fantastic deals? Head to Village Dispensary, where every day is a celebration. Start your week with 25% off dog walker pre-rolls on Monday. Tuesday, enjoy 25% off Dibs gummies. On Wednesday, enjoy 30% off Nevada pens. On Thursday, it's 30% off CQ sodas, margaritas, and more. Friday, enjoy 3.5 grams of Megatron by NGW and Cronuts number 4 by Paul Bunyan for $25. Visit villagedispo.com and shop now.
Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Welcome back to Our Daily Show. Here's CJ.
Then that time I went and said goodbye. Now I'm back and not ashamed to cry. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Here I am, baby. Oh, you got the future in your hand.
Welcome back. 9:35. That's what friends are for. The benefit concert on December the 8th. Nick made it across the pond there. How was the war zone that's 367?
You know what? It was a little traffic, but, you know, I'm glad to be here.
So I'm really excited to have you here, too. Fill me in on your non-for-profit, because we were talking, Harvey and I were, man, and this is really cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So, Ujima is the nonprofit. Our mission is to cultivate community through food justice, environmental stewardship, and youth empowerment. And so we manage an urban farm in North City, and then we also have a teen program called the Sunflower Institute. We pay teenagers and young adults $20 an hour to work with us, and we engage them in the urban farm, and then we also take them on camping trips, we go on float trips, and then we engage them in professional development, but then we also do mental health support to support them and their families as well.
That's really cool. And you know, I always, the last couple of years with having all these not-for-profits on the show and talking about different organizations, there's always such a need really for just what you guys are doing, getting kids outside and learning about these very important, you know, not only life skills, but also ways that we can critically think in other aspects of our lives and really benefit from it. And, you know, over in North County, what I thought was really cool too, about a year ago, I went over and seeing some of the really great hiking areas too that are in some of the portions that you would drive by and never think of being really great areas. How long has this been in operation? Yeah, so the Urban Farm has been around since November of 2021, but the nonprofit, we started officially in 2018. And now take me through some of the reaction from the Urban Farm. Yeah, so it's been great. We've gotten a lot of support from neighbors. We've hosted quarterly neighborhood cleanups with organizations like Earth Day 365, and we've been able to clean up over 10,000 pounds of trash in North City. Wow. Since, since we had the farm. So that's incredible. And, you know, to me, though, it does even more than, you know, all of what you've listed. It teaches a sense of community pride, too, and that loving where you live aspect of it all. And what are some of the takeaways that some of the kids that you work with, you know, have in their experiences, you know, from these community projects and down to just, you know, some of the entertainment events that you guys put on? Yeah, so we've gotten a lot of great feedback from the young adults and the teens that we work with. And so they're really inspired by working with us because they see professionals that look like them in various arenas, whether it be agriculture, culinary arts, conservation. And so a lot of times you don't know what's out there. And so there are a lot of opportunities, like through our partnership with the Missouri Department of Conservation. There are jobs that exist in their realm that I didn't know about. And so to be able to expose them to staff and those type of outdoor education activities, I think is really cool. And so it really opens up the opportunities that are available to them. Well, and now take me to George Washington Carver Farm. I see this on your website. Is this still looking to grow? Yeah. So we currently have a house and a half acre. I'm really proud because my grandmother has actually lived in this community for over 40 years. Oh, wow. And so to have this opportunity to be about change and community in that space is really special. And so, we have the opportunity to expand. We have vacant properties surrounding the urban farm. And so we have the ability to purchase some more land next year. So I'm really excited about that. Let me play this video.
Welcome to George Washington Carver Farms. This community hub will honor the Missouri legend who transformed the way we grow food in America.
We've had enough of this nonsense.
we will be restoring abandoned and unsafe land. The trees and plants we sow improve the air and soil quality. Our native garden will create a rich and vibrant habitat for pollinators. Our progress will create a sustainable green space. We are committed to restoring our neighborhood and combating illegal dumping. Help us continue our mission of cultivating community through food justice, environmental stewardship, and youth empowerment. Check out ujimastl.com to donate, find volunteer opportunities, and learn more about the first phase of George Washington Carver Farms. In the words of George Washington Carver, where there's no vision, there's no hope.
How about that? A plus. A plus.
I appreciate that.
I saw the website and I wanted to do a little bit more on this because this is what the funds of this benefit concert are going to start going towards too. And how can we volunteer, Nick? How can we sign up, or even just, with the end of the year coming up and the end of the quarter, that beautiful fourth quarter, that means that there are some last minute deductions that need to be made. And 501c3?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Tax deductible. There's the sales pitch for you. How can we help, and how can we sign up and be a part of your growing organization?
Yeah, so if folks want to come out and visit us, you're more than welcome. On Saturdays, we have volunteer shifts from 10 a.m. to noon. And then folks are always welcome to donate. You can donate and sign up for volunteers on our website. You can reach out. We're on social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the things. So you can definitely reach out to us that way. We're going to do a happy hour for Giving Tuesday, which is November the 26th. So yeah, plenty of ways to tap in and support.
Well, and on your website, there's a couple of staggering statistics. 1 in 6 children in the state of Missouri struggle with food insecurity and the food deserts that are in the state, but also 865,000 plus residents in Missouri don't know where their next meal's coming from. And now, what's the end goal for the organization? What's that final place look like for you, where you're envisioning, you've reached that mountaintop and you've really achieved that final mission? What is that mission for you?
That's a good question. So the big dream is for us to be the Eckert's Farm of North City.
Wow.
So to take agriculture and scale it up to add agritourism. They have a restaurant, they have a cidery, they have multiple opportunities year round for folks to support, on top of the amazing fruit that you can get from there as well. And so I want to do something similar, but then also have the education components and continue to scale up the Sunflower Institute and the way that we show up for young people.
Well, and that's what I wanted to dive into. Good. He has like a crystal ball over there, Harvey. I'm telling you what. That's incredible.
From the moment I met him, I went, the guy talks better than I do.
So let's go into detail a little bit more on the Sunflower Institute, because I was reading a little bit on it before you came into the studio today, and just reading about the graduates and just that, really just seems like a successful program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're in the young stages of the program. So we started in 2021. And so one thing I was adamant about, we paid them $20 an hour. We wanted to make sure that we invest in them, and part of that is compensation.
Yeah.
So we make sure that they get paid $20 an hour. We also have an occupational therapist that we work with as a consultant, and then we have mental health support staff that can support them on the individual and group basis as well. So those were the non-negotiables, and then we had a farm, so it made sense that we had them work with us. And during the summertime, the busy season, it's great to have those extra hands, but then we also do the camping trips. We visited Onondaga Cave. And so we really do an intentional work about exposing them to the amazing green spaces in Missouri, but then also connecting them with other opportunities once they leave us, whether it be internships or job opportunities.
One of the things that has been such a misconception from youth across the entire St. Louis Metro East is the lack of availability to the what I call the core principles in a young person's life, and that's entertainment and that nuanced feeling of innovation and of culture, and also just finding that real overall experience that incorporates all aspects of life, that family aspect, the going out aspect, but also the educational. And I don't feel like our young people realize the opportunities that are just in the 618 and 314 areas. And with your program and organization, I feel like that's a really great way to kind of break down the wall of there's nothing going on here, because in your own backyard, in your farm, I mean, the opportunities just in that couple of acre or whatever, how big it is endless. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of discovering that and realizing how important our own ecosystems are and going camping. Do you see that on the kids' faces too? Is there like a turnaround time from maybe when someone first is in the program to when maybe that clicking happens? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes, absolutely. You definitely see it on a camping trip, because oftentimes they've never been in spent the night in a tent, let alone been on a river for 5 hours on a float trip, going to a cave tour. These are all brand new experiences that they normally don't have access to. And so that and alone and seeing their faces and realizing the wonders that exist in Missouri, I think is really cool to see, for sure.
Man, this is so cool. Harvey, getting back to the December 8th concert, where are we doing this at again?
At St. Paul's United Methodist Church in East Alton.
Really cool.
Yep, exactly.
How many seats are we filling?
400.
Oh, we got this. We got this in the bag.
400, yeah.
And how much are tickets?
Tickets, there's no charge. We are taking free will offerings, and we're going ahead of this with the people that I know and Nick's connections. And what I'm telling my folks is it's $2,500 to fund one scholarship. I already have a donor out there who will match that $2,500 if I raise it. So the approach is I don't want people to be barred from attending a really great concert who may not have the financial ability to do so, that type of thing. So we're saying, y'all come, we're going to take up a free will donation. But outside of this, I am reaching out to my friends and colleagues and business people to say, here's what's going on. Step up, and I'm guilting him into it.
Well, honestly,
I keep telling him I'm an old man. It's honoring my grandfather. My mother's birthday is the same day. She was a gifted musician, but we're doing it because from the first time I met Nick, I was so impressed because he understands what kids are missing, because kids in education today are bored and they are wrapped into technology, and he's giving them the opportunity to experience and then learn from the experience. And it's phenomenal.
And on top of that, too, it's a real experience, because with this technology, we've had people on the show all the time talking about this false sense of reality that's developed around. And when you get your hands into something that's actually real and you can feel that, I can, you know this better than I do. Why am I telling you this? It's amazing to see this all take place.
Yes.
And so if you're just tuning in, if you have $0 in that bank account or $1 million, you're invited to go for free.
You bet. Exactly.
But if you do have that million floating and you want to help send a lot of kids over,
right there.
we are going to take that happily and call it a good December 8th concert. But before I let both of you go, and this has been a great conversation, so thanks for being a part of it.
Thank you for the invitation.
No, this is great. Nick, I got to ask you, you talked to me during the break about the newer alderwoman coming over and kind of just working with you guys a little bit. The conversations with the elected officials have got to be really positive ones, because especially, when you turn on regional news and every 30 seconds it's like, well, here's another bad thing, bad thing, bad thing, bad thing. Here's how you can help us. Bad thing, bad thing, bad thing. They've got to love the fact that there is somebody investing actively, and there's so many, Nicks out there in St. Louis, but something like this that's where hands-on with the youth, that's really about building that next generation. What do their conversations sound like with you?
So they've all been positive. I remember the first time I met Alderwoman Laura Keyes, it was at a event in which we got awarded. We got a $150,000 grant from Serving Our Communities. So that was really cool. And so
Nick's also a part of my show.
Welcome to the new co-host.
Sorry.
Yes. So at that event, I had never met her in person, and in conversation, she was saying that she's new to this position and she really wanted to have fruit trees in the community. And I was like, we literally have 14 fruit trees right now in our urban farm. And so it was just a really organic, positive conversation. And so she was really excited about the work that we were doing, and the fact that my grandma has been in the community for so long. It just made sense. And so I'm grateful for her support and the community as well.
So before I let you go, that's where I wanted to end on was with your grandma, because being in a neighborhood for 40 years, you see the growth, the highs, the lows of everything. What are her thoughts now, with this development going on back there and all the work that you're doing, just her takeaway on how everything's going?
Yeah, she's really proud. And so while I don't currently live in that community, she always stops by and checks on the farm for me. And just recently, a couple of weeks ago, I dropped off some collard greens. And so she's proud. And I'm a little biased because I'm the first grandbaby. But she loves what I do, and she's always checking in on me. And it's another opportunity for me to go see her. And the fact that I work in her neighborhood is really amazing, too.
That's really cool, man. And Harvey, getting back into this, after it all, you had the medical episodes happen, and to end the I guess music career and all of that in this way, it's got to just be one of the. No wonder you're beaming with joy. Look at all the good you're bringing out. Now, what have your friends and the people you've been calling on the phone been pretty eager to help?
Oh my gosh, jumping in. As a matter of fact, most recently, there's a phenomenal artist, chef, musician in St. Louis named Ty Davis. I watched Ty's artwork, and I actually bought a piece to ship to the Philippines because my son there is opening a restaurant.
Oh, wow.
On one of the islands. And I said, well, I'm shipping you this piece. So as Ty and I were talking, I went in and met him in the Arts District because I wanted to see the rest of his artwork. Well, then I learned that not only is a gifted artist, but he has a cello degree from SIUE, so he's going to come up and play in the concert, but he didn't know anything about what Nick was doing. And I said, you got to get connected to Nick there also. And then he is a phenomenal chef, so he is going to be doing a specialized dinner for my guests on Friday night in the Arts Loft District, so they can see his work, taste his food, and so I can connect him, these two guys together, because that's what the other thing happens. Not-for-profits end up in their own silos because you're always fighting for your own existence.
Right.
So if you can find a way for the not-for-profits to cooperate, if you can introduce to that, to get back to your question, people have been, number one, blown away by his work. Just blown away.
Well, it's just incredible. I mean, I've had a lot of not-for-profits on the show, man. This is really incredible, seriously.
Thank you.
So
and I'm not saying that because you're bigger than me. Well,
that wouldn't be me. Maybe bigger this way.
Well, Harvey, we got a couple of minutes, about 60 seconds left. Give me your sales pitch to That's What Friends Are For. The floor is yours, Senator. Get us there. Sights and sounds, and where are we heading to on December the 8th at what time?
December the 8th at 3 p.m. You will have the opportunity for free to experience phenomenal music, to benefit an outstanding not-for-profit, and to spend an hour and a half that in a time where there is not a lot of hope, great hope is there, and you will see the potential of the future as we head into 2025. You got to come. And if you can't come, more important, you got to send the organization money.
Yes.
Because that is what's needed to keep his vision and growth going. So I'm a lucky man to know him. I'm a lucky man to invite people to this concert. And I'm also lucky to hit people up for money.
Absolutely. Nick, man, my pleasure. What's the best way for folks to stay connected?
Yeah, so you can definitely visit our website, ujimastl.org.
Can you spell that for us?
Yes, UJIMASTL.org. And then we're also under Ujima STL on Instagram and Facebook. So yes, you can find us on those platforms as well.
And you can also go to otherpeopleskids.org and it's there on my not-for-profit site.
Oh,
Cooking.
really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll link everything in a write-up on RiverBender.com. Before we take a quick break, all right, you know the deal. Queen of Junk. Your junk is their business. You know, in St. Louis, Nick, I'm sure there's some properties that got to get all that stuff out of that. You know, I was driving around. I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but some of you got hot tubs and things that are laying around since the first Bush administration. It's sad. You got to call the Queen of Junk. You know, for 30 years, she's been the Queen of Junk, and she took on the big guys. She decided that this year she is going to be, or last year she was going to be the trash provider for the area, taking on literally the big companies because they don't care.
No.
You know, you call and then they go, well, we're going to expedite your claim and we're going to call it a day. What she does is she answers the phone. Isn't that wild? Like the business owner answers it.
Yeah.
Now her purple and yellow trash cans are popping up and mating like bunny rabbits. It's crazy to see all the work. Go to sparksjunkremoval.net, reclaim your space today, and start your journey with the Queen of Junk, now the Queen of Trash, today.
Looking for
Life's better when you're under the American Family Insurance roof because they know your house is home base for their dreams. Whether it's a kid like me aiming for the big leagues, ready? Future rocket scientist, or a budding prima ballerina. When you feel totally protected, your family's free to pursue their dreams. She's good.
Let's go.
American Family Insurance.
When life throws unexpected challenges your way, you need a versatile legal ally to protect you. Sean Lentz, with over 12 years of experience, is here to help you in a variety of avenues. From personal injury to criminal defense and even semi-truck accidents, Sean Lentz has your back. Don't wait for the justice that you deserve. Call 618-465-8000 and see how Sean can help you today.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
Ready for fantastic deals? Head to Village Dispensary, where every day is a celebration. Start your week with 25% off dog walker pre-rolls on Monday. Tuesday, enjoy 25% off Dibs gummies. On Wednesday, enjoy 30% off Nevada pens. On Thursday, it's 30% off CQ sodas, margaritas, and more. Friday, enjoy 3.5 grams of Megatron by NGW and Cronuts number 4 by Paul Bunyan for $25. Visit villagedispo.com and shop now.
Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Welcome back to Our Daily Show. Here's CJ.
Welcome back to this Thanksgiving morning. The 10 o'clock hour rolls around the corner in the heart of the 618. Familiar face, Mark, 2 times in a week.
Thank you for having me back, CJ. I'm excited about this conversation. Not that I wasn't excited about the previous one, but I think this one is a little bit more of a passion project for me, which I love talking about.
Well, we were talking on the phone to set up the conversation with Pup Kitchen, and you were talking with me about Take 2 Minutes. And what better time to talk about this than during the holiday season? You know, we always talk about the fun, festive side of things, but we never really take a moment to reflect on the mental well-being of others and ourselves.
That is correct. Yeah. And the whole holiday season's a time to, I don't know, there's so much you can do to help others. If you have, friends who are alone, check in on them, call and say hi. There's things that you can do to help others. And I think it's an important time of the year to reach out to individuals who, may not have as much of a family, may have lost someone last year. It's all kinds of reasons why someone could be, hurting or having trouble this time of year.
Well, and it's, so important to talk about that too, because it seems like, so many times when we do look for individuals in our, friend circles that might might be needing some help, we always notice the ones that are a little bit more vocal, but it's the individuals that I've noticed that are kind of keep to themselves, that really are the ones that are struggling the most sometimes.
Yeah, that's very accurate. There's a lot of people. I have a story, and I don't know, I don't know how much about it I can tell, but it goes along those lines. I had an employee who, through secondhand news, news is the wrong word. Through secondhand, I had heard he had a terminal illness, but he never brought it to anyone's attention, never brought it up, never mentioned it. And so because he never mentioned it to me as his employer, I couldn't mention it back to him. I couldn't bring it up because I heard about it again from hearsay type thing.
Right.
And, unfortunately, he passed without ever bringing it up to the team. And that kind of made me sad. I wish I could have talked to him about it, or at least let him know that, the whole company would have been there for him. But everyone's different. And I'm not saying what he did was right or wrong. I'm not trying to pass judgment on that. But I think it goes back to what you said. Some people who are struggling keep to themselves. They don't necessarily say something to someone else. And that's just solidifying that.
Well, you're 100% right. And, take me through what led to you starting Take 2 Minutes, because, this is such a really cool story, and I'd love for the audience to hear it.
Yeah, Take 2 Minutes is definitely, I think the cliche is snowballed into something much bigger than it started as. And it's a good story. So my older son, who I just enjoy time spent with him, as hopefully all parents love time with their kids, but my older son's a lot of fun to be around. In high school, this is in 2015, I noticed he was struggling a bit with just what I would call happiness. He seemed to be kind of down because of high school problems. And I put that in air quotes because, everyone deals with high school a little bit differently. And high school can be tough for a lot of people, especially, at a public school. There's a lot of cliques and there's a lot of things that happen that can get someone down. And so my goal as a parent was to let him know that he's loved and people out there care about him. So every day I started texting him a message around noon, just a positive messages, letting him know that his dad loved him more than anything. But in addition to that I love you, it was positive messages. And because I'm a technologist by heart, I quickly, and I've been in a leadership role in technology for decades now, as far as like a CIO or a SVP of technology. I noticed most days around lunchtime, which is when I was trying to send messages to him, I was heads down with work problems or on meetings, whatever else it would be. And so I wrote a little application that allowed me in the morning hours, when I had a whole lot of positive thoughts on my yoga mat or meditating, to write a message into a document. And then around the noon time, this application would pull a message out of the document and send it to him. It was pretty simple, cool. But it was still messages from me going to my son. After a while, I think a few other family members wanted to receive the messages. People kind of, we talked about it, and others wanted to get it. And at some point in time, fast forward like 6 months, I had 20 people getting these positive messages. I thought nothing else of it besides, oh, look, my family and some friends are reading my positive message every day. That's pretty cool. Well, one day I was in a local store, and I was talking to the person behind the counter about their morning message, because they were talking about how poignant it was and how spot on it was for their day and everything. And a complete stranger in line behind me speaks up and says, "Oh, I get your messages also." And it was a complete stranger. So I was like, this is interesting. So I went back and looked at the database, and there was 300 people locally here getting my positive messages. It had kind of spread to where people, it had grown. And so at that point, I was like, I got to do more with this besides, my made up positive messages. And this is what's interesting is I reached out to my network of contacts and learned that I had a direct communication with a doctor of psychology at Duke University.
Wow.
And that gentleman spent endless hours on the phone with me telling me all about his studies. And he was, I think at that point in time, 7 or 8 years into a 10-year grant to study resilience and happiness in healthcare workers and in students. And he had just a ton of data he shared with me over the course of multiple months.
Wow. Well, and what did that data show you? I mean, I'm just curious, because I'm a data guy. So what did that, what were some of the findings in this?
It was enlightening, I could say. So the biggest thing I found is, his studies took exercises in the area of positive psychology, and he had performed them on his participants in different ways. So one of the best activities I love talking about is one called 3 Good Things. He had taken the 3 Good Things activity, and he had tried it on people for like a month, and he had tried it on people for 6 weeks, and he had tried it on people for a shorter amount of time. And through his research, he found that it only takes 15 days of doing a 3 good things activity to have a resilient positive effect on your mental well-being that lasts for like 4 to 6 months past when you stop doing it. And he had used, studies to look at the improvement. And like the most popular test he used is one called the MDES or oh my gosh, I talk about MDS every day. I don't know why I can't think of what it's called right now. Wow, I'm sorry. I'm just drawing a blank there.
Can I follow up on what you said earlier, though?
Yeah,
Because this is fascinating. So what that means in a way, just in layman's terms, so for me to make it make sense, there's side effects, positive side effects to things. So you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So there's like a positive, there's a withdrawal from that positive action for the 15 days they're doing those 3 good things. There's technically a withdrawal of good effect for 4 to 6 months after that.
Correct. That's correct. Yeah, it has a lasting effect on your mental well-being. So what
incredible.
It does is it creates new neural pathways in your head. So it's activities that help what's called prime you. So it helps you recognize things in life for which you're grateful and for which should be good to you. And in doing that, when you're priming your mind, you're creating new neural pathways to recognize that going forward. And so once you've done the activity and exercises, and we'll talk about a path through Take 2 Minutes, which I have found to be really helpful for people. But once you finish it, you have created these new neural pathways, and those have a lasting effect for 4 to 6 months past when you stop doing it, which is astonishing.
Well, and now take me back to Take 2 Minutes. So the moment that you start realizing that, this is a lot bigger than what you thought it was, and that you had 300 plus people and you're talking with this individual from Duke, where does it go from there?
Once I learned enough about his activities, I basically asked him, I said, can I start putting these into an application? And his answer was, these are kind of, for lack of better terms, open source activities. He didn't own them. He didn't create them. They're things that are known in the area of positive psychology to help people. He had just been studying them as far as how to make them uber focused to help people. And so I just started creating the application at that point. And I think the very first iteration of Take 2 Minutes was, a subset of what it is now. It's continued to grow over the 5 years and improve itself over 5 years. Initially, it was like gratitude journaling and some meditations maybe. And then I added the 3 good things, and I added the dream journaling, and I added the different types of meditations. And I've added more and more activities as I've gone forward, or even really increased the awareness of the chat bot, because part of Take 2 Minutes is a chat bot that can respond to your requests in addition to being a mobile app. So I've just improved it over the years to make it better and better.
Well, and especially during the pandemic when we were kind of all locked inside, that's what I felt like people needed the most was, a lot of times, especially, and I've talked to mental health experts and substance use disorder treatment experts about this, is, even for the common non-addict person, maybe somebody that just used to go to the bar on the weekend, that was their only chance to socialize. When COVID hit, there was that part of it was gone, and there wasn't that option that they knew of to have that couple of minutes to really focus in, and that's where you saw a little bit of an uptick in that number of alcoholism and overdoses and all those different terrible things. Some of it was related to that, not all of it or a majority, but a good portion.
No, that's spot on. There was a huge uptick in anxiety and depression because of COVID. We were, locked in our houses without the ability to talk to others and have face-to-face time. I mean, even this, you and I aren't face-to-face. We're still in Zoom. I can see your reactions, and we're kind of creating a connection with each other through talking. We can see each other. You remove all that and you lock people into their houses, and you're going to have an increase in anxiety and depression both, because there's just no way as a human, we like interaction. Some people are introverts, but they still have some need to have interaction with others. And that's how they can feel better about themselves. And that was completely lacking during COVID.
Well, and now with the Take 2 Minutes, when did you start to evolve it? What was the first evolution of Take 2 Minutes once you start seeing that the gears are turning here?
So the first version launched in 2019, and again, it was just gratitude journaling and some meditations. And I want to talk about the meditations, but I want to talk about gratitude journaling first. One of the biggest evolutions that I really like talking about is what I call the gratitude challenge. And so I'm going to tell you a longer story here. It's going to take gratitude journaling and 3 good things and put them together. And there's a reason for the story. But what I learned initially was gratitude journaling is hugely important for someone. However, if you have someone who's struggling with depression, you have someone who's not in a good mental spot, which is really a lot of people, and you ask them to write something they're grateful for, they don't know. I'm glad I have my dogs. They'll have a passive answer like that without really thinking about it. And what I found through my research is a lot of people will think about an answer for a minute or two, then give up. Like, I don't know, there's nothing I can think of, right? So because of that, and because of my awareness of the need to recognize gratitude, but the ability for people not to do it well who aren't accustomed to doing it, I created what's called a gratitude challenge. And the gratitude challenge within Take 2 Minutes has been researched by me with complete strangers. And I'll tell you a few things I found about it. One is the way the gratitude challenge works is instead of getting a daily positive message, you get a prompt of something for which you should be grateful. So the one I use all the time as an example is the sun provides warmth and light to our planet. Think of a reason why you like the sun. That gives you one thing to think about, one thing to write a statement about, which most people can then do. And I kind of break this into authors and editors, right? Some people are really good at authoring. They can just sit down and write. A lot of people don't have that. They're better at editors. You give them an idea and they can edit it, that they can write against that idea. So the gratitude challenge works with that. What I found is in 2023, I took 30 participants and had them, none of them had experience with gratitude journaling, and I had them all do the gratitude challenge for 30 days. What I found was about day 12 to 15, the majority of them, I think like 20 of them, reached out to me and said, "This is amazing, because when I started this, I knew nothing about gratitude journaling. Now when I leave my house, I just recognize things I'm grateful for." It's like light bulbs are going off everywhere about things I'm grateful for, because they had primed their minds to recognize positivity. And during that priming, they recognized more of it. Once you are recognizing things you're grateful for, that puts your mind into a positive state. You really can't have negativity while having gratitude, right? You can't have depression while having gratitude at the same time. It doesn't work that way. So you're recognizing things that make you happy. Now, doing that helped the people create new neural pathways. You put that together with 3 good things. And what I have found is, and the quick plan is, you do gratitude journaling for 30 days. And at the 15-day mark, you start a 3 good things activity. 3 good things works by reflecting on the day. So gratitude, ideally, you should do in the morning for the first 30 days. 15-day point, you start the 3 good things activity, which is a nighttime activity. You're reflecting on the day and thinking of 3 good things that happened to you that day. Putting those together over the course of 30 days, in my research, I found that 95% of participants who complete the 30 days have an average of a 200% increase in positivity at the 31st day, which is, in my mind, a short amount of time to increase your positivity, to increase your happiness by doing 30 days of activities.
Well, and see, that's where I find so fascinating is that breakthrough period, because I'm sure for some, maybe not all, there was, it felt like work. It's like, man, this is tough, but the moment that kind of light bulb clicks and then the clarity and the fog clears, it seems like it just takes on a whole nuance. And was there anything you could gather data-wise that you could see where the hang-up was, maybe in those first couple of days for those participants? Or was it any feedback that you've gotten? Because I find that when does that work become pleasure? You know what I'm saying? When is that decisive point?
Yeah, it seems to be around the 12 to 15 day point. You start making a habit at that point. And then again, the positive psychology aspect of it is, it's creating those new neural pathways I've already talked about. You're priming your mind. So you just recognize them. Where Barbara Fredrickson, who's a psychologist, once said, the negatives scream at us, but the positives only whisper. And the idea behind that is the world is full of negatives. We are predispositioned as humans to watch out, to be cautious of things around us and to protect ourselves, right? But because of that, you're really good at noticing negatives. You're really good at noticing threats. You're not as good at noticing positives. So you can get yourself into a better, more positive mindset by priming yourself or doing these exercises that help you recognize the positives in life. And that gets you into a more positive mindset.
So is it habitual in a way where it becomes habit, or is it because it seems like, when things go bad, we all start to see the bad. But on the flip side of that, when we start to see the positive side of things, it become, I hate to use the word habitual, but it becomes, almost like second nature.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about that for a moment.
Yeah.
So, with positive psychology, there's a lot of things online talking about fake positivity
Yep.
or toxic positivity. Positive psychology, in my mind, is not that. And to answer I'm still getting to answer your question. We're going to have problems in life. We all are. There's going to be work problems. We may lose a loved one. That's something we're going to go through. There may be challenges financially. We're going to have problems in life. And that doesn't mean that through positive psychology, through these activities that we're talking about, your life's going to be rainbows and butterflies every day, right? You're not going to be happy and just perfect every day. And so when you're talking about it being habitual, in my mind, what it is it gives you the tools and understanding so that when you have bad days, you know how to pull yourself back out of them. And I think the key to that is it doesn't mean when you have a bad day, you're supposed to do the whole cliche, turn that frown upside down
Right.
or, smile, because we're going to have bad days. We have, I don't know how many emotions are on the emotion scale. There's like 300 emotions in the emotion chart, right? You're supposed to experience those. That is part of life. You should experience emotions. Because you are doing things like take 2 minutes or positive psychology doesn't mean you're never going to be sad, mad, angry, anything else. You should still experience those. What positive psychology does is it makes you recognize how to pull yourself out of that when you are ready to do so. And that is the key. It's when you're ready to do so, because I wake up sometimes, quote unquote, on the wrong side of the bed, right? I have a bad day. It doesn't mean that I can just flip a switch and I'm happy all of a sudden. I recognize my bad day, and it might last 2 or 3 days. But when I'm ready, I know the activities I've created as, kind of habits, like you said, to recognize the activities to help me get into a better mindset. I hope that answered your question.
It does. And I might be going on, it's not a tangent, but it's a little bit of an extreme thought. But, we are around this time of the year where we have people come on the show that talk about grief, and they talk about, getting through the holidays, surviving the holidays, because you never know who's going through that first holiday alone or vice versa. And one thing that I think this is so important for is, when grief happens, let's say you lose your loved one, your husband, wife, grandfather, mother, dad, and you're sad, you're devastated for a couple of days. But that gratitude journaling, this is where I see the flip side of this, and I really understand where you're coming from. For a couple of days, it's going to be hard to give me 3 things about what went. You know what? I'm grateful that I had, X amount of months with, grandpa on, hospice, or dad while he was sick, or I got to spend 40 years with my wife, and I'm grateful for those. Those, to me, become real things to be grateful for, real gratitude attributes. Am I onto something there with that too?
No, you totally are. And I think that's a part of gratitude journaling, is recognizing different things. One thing I've seen quite often is someone will, say, I'm grateful for my kids. And the next day is, I'm grateful for my kid because of this. I'm grateful for and so you have to expand your knowledge of gratitude. And that's also where the gratitude challenge helps, because it does give you a different prompt every day as you start recognizing different things. And I think I have one therapist I talk to all the time, a counselor, and he always says he prescribes people to write 30 days of gratitude, and every day's got to be something different, right? Because if you do it for something different every day, it becomes more challenging.
So let me...
Go ahead.
Oh, so the thing about gratitude journaling, and I wanted to ask you this, because this is where the positive mental process always trips me up. Because when are we thinking too much about things? If that makes sense. So, to me, I'm a big 90-day reflective person. So every 90 days, I'm looking back at things I've done, how am I doing? Am I on task for my goals mentally, physically, all that? But when I did my gratitude stuff, I started getting too philosophical. Like, man, I'm really grateful for that, tree over here on the corner of the street when I'm walking my dog, because I like whenever he stops there. You know what I'm saying? Is there ever a point where it becomes like we're going a little bit too far, or maybe a little bit too much with what we're grateful for?
That's a good question. I don't think I've ever been asked that. I don't know. I can't. I try to recognize gratitude again on my good days, wherever I'm at, and I think it just helps me stay into a more positive mindset. And it's, I yesterday I had something happen that was a little kind of negative, but I still woke up today. I was reflecting on it, but at the same time, I was like, let's try to look at positive things for today because it helps me get into a more positive mindset, and I enjoy myself that way a lot more. I don't. I'm sure you can do anything too
Yeah,
much,
I guess.
CJ, but I don't know how that would.
Well, because I'm such a harsh critic of myself, like, so I'll sit there and go, "I'm grateful." I'm like, "Why are you grateful for that, stupid?" I'm like, so it's just something the way my brain works. But you were talking about meditation, and to me, this is where I think people could benefit so much when it comes to their mental health. Because during COVID, that's the first thing I did whenever I was dealing with my stuff is learning how to meditate with one of my friend Cindy's Calm apps, and just sitting there and going through the 5 minutes, then making it up to 10 and 15 and 30. Can you take me through your meditation journey if you have one? Because to me, I think learning how to meditate could really teach you how to get through the day.
It can, yeah. The idea of meditation is to bring yourself into the present, and it's easy to do so by focusing. I shouldn't say easy; it's easier to do so by focusing on your breath, because your breath is something you can be aware of, and it can help you focus on the air going in and holding your belly expanding and all the good things, and that can help calm you down. What I've learned about meditation is there's all kinds of different styles of meditation. So when I was starting to take 2 minutes, I was hiring people to write meditations and record meditations. And I quickly learned there's a whole bunch of different styles out there. And what I like about that, and what I like about everything in this whole area, including even take 2 minutes, is there's different ways to do everything.
Right.
And what I tell everybody is take 2 minutes might not be the right application for you. And that's okay. But there are, 7,000 applications out there. So keep trying, because recognizing gratitude, you get yourself into a positive mindset is something that most people can do. And I say most because there's always challenges out there, but
absolutely.
You can do it if you put an effort into it, right? So going back to meditation, what I tell people all the time is if you try to meditate and you don't like it, that's okay. Try a different meditation style. And as you know, the big ones, there's Calm is a huge app.
Yeah.
There's Headspace, huge app. I personally, within Take 2 Minutes, have a few different meditation styles. I have meditational stories. I have guided meditations. I have breathing exercises. And I have a whole library of meditations that are really focused on anxiety to help calm you down. So there's just 4 styles right there I mentioned. And my point is try different ones, try different voices. I have one person in Take 2 Minutes who I think is just beautiful. Her name is Marissa. And as a subscriber, you can ask for one of her meditations. It'll send it right back to you. But that's not the only voice. I have other voices. And I think what I'm getting at is keep trying. Find one you like. Find a method you like, because there are so many methods you can do that. I have got to the point now, I just like a typical breathing exercise where I sit down, legs crossed, eyes closed in a seated position, and focus on my breath. But that's not how I liked 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I wanted kind of a story baked into it and someone talking to me, which I don't need that anymore now. But you progress is what happens.
And see, I'm a guided meditation person. I want to know every second what I need to be doing,
Yeah.
and
that's good.
Well, and see, this is where I find this such a great hub, really, for your mental well-being, because, it seems like the world's too fast anymore for most people to have their morning routines. And for so many of our older generation, I feel like that's what kept them grounded, because, hey, no matter what, at 7:30 in the morning, I'm having my cup of coffee, I'm reading the newspaper and taking a couple of minutes, and by 9, I'm in the car going to work, whatever. But now things change on the dime for so many people. It's hard to get a constant routine and a constant flow going for some. But for this, to where it's really all at the palm of your hand, you can find 5 to 10 minutes every morning to do these things. And for you, do you utilize this, for 10, 15? Is there a set time that you utilize your application for?
So it depends on how you're using the application.
I get you on this, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to your statement, though. I think taking time for yourself is essential, and I think it's difficult to do sometimes. I find difficulty in it. I mean, as we talked about earlier, I just started a business. I have Take 2 Minutes. I'm also a CIO for a large, national moving company. I have plenty to do. I have stressors every day. And what I find is there are definitely mornings I wake up and have my cup of tea. I'm like, oh, I got to get busy. I have so much to do, and I don't take time for myself. But the key is to still find a way to take those 5, 10, 15 minutes, really even a half hour for yourself, because What I have found is if you do that, it helps you get into a more centered mindset for yourself, and you are much more responsive and able to tackle problems throughout the day once you have taken some time for yourself. It's an important part of life is self-care, right? So if you take that self-care, you're better equipped for the rest of the day.
Well,
and as far as, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
That's right.
One of the things that I've run into, and I don't know if you do too, because I'm someone that's aware of, all right, hey, hit the brakes here, buddy. You got to take 15 minutes because you're overworked. You aren't even thinking. You're just doing things. But, take 5 minutes, take 10, and it feels like you didn't take any time at all, if that makes any sense.
It does.
And when it comes to take 2 minutes, I think that's where I find so much benefit to this potentially for me, because there's going to be options there where, okay, with that 5 minutes and 10 minutes didn't work for you, you didn't get anything accomplished, for yourself. You didn't really even just sit there. You were distressing. So let's use that 5 minutes for ourselves for something more positive. And that's what I was trying to tie into that is, for me, I might be aware of it, but it's still not getting accomplished.
So within Take 2 Minutes, there's different ways of interacting with it and different ways of doing your activities. And we talked about it being it's a mobile first web app, meaning it's a web app that's meant for your phone. You can sign into it and you can do these activities that way. But it also has a fully robust chat bot, which works via SMS or text messaging. So what that means is you can be still busy and still take 2 or 3 minutes here and there for yourself. So let's say you started using Take 2 Minutes and you're going to try a gratitude challenge, right? The gratitude challenge sends you the prompt via text message. So it's whenever you set it up, you can set it up for 6 a.m., 9 a.m., 9, 10 a.m., whatever you wanted to do. But as soon as you've set it up at that time of day, it's going to send you the prompt. Once you have the prompt, the goal is you can type back in a text message your response, and it's going to save it in your journal. What's nice about that is you can have a busy day. You can, get your text message. When you read it, stop for a moment. Stop, read it, answer the question it's asking you. Take those 2 minutes, and maybe you're not taking, I would like people to take more than 2 minutes, but the whole idea of Take 2 Minutes is you're taking 2 minutes here and there throughout your day to help yourself with mental well-being. And so you can respond back via text message, and that's really easy for almost anyone to do, just to write a text message back to a system, and you've answered the question. And like everything, it comes down to repetition, right? You're not going to go to the gym one day and be in shape and buff and strong. It's going to take you time at the gym. Mental well-being takes time too. You can't do this once or twice and think, okay, I'm not seeing a difference. Give it, as we talked about earlier, 12, 14, 16 days and see if you see a difference then.
Well, and see, this is what I was having a conversation a couple of months ago with somebody about this. It might have been with Centerstone. I don't know at this point. So many interviews, you forget them. But there was, for all the talk about, well, COVID did this and this and this, I think there's one positive for some people, not all, because not everyone's the same, but it slowed people down enough to go, man, how are we functioning here? How are we actually doing this? And because it knocked people out of the rhythm enough just to go, man, I can't believe we were making this work. And, some people it did help because maybe they were, doing, way too much, only sleeping 3 hours a night and working 3 jobs, and going, man, I can't do that no more. It's time for me to help myself. But that's where I think the term take 2 minutes, it goes above that because, taking 2 minutes is great to get us through the day, but sometimes we need to check ourselves and go, hey, maybe let's take 2 minutes and think about, are these 7 days a week that I'm, living and spending time with my family, are they actually serving its purpose? Am I actually giving it all to all sectors of my life, my personal life, my family's life, my, work life? And that's where I think this is so important.
No, I think it is. We value a lot of things in America, which a lot of countries don't value as much. And monetary is always important for us, right? To make more money and more money. And that's something a lot of people live by. And really, if you learn to have that gratitude, recognize what you have, I think you can live a happier life. And you can still, want the money. You can still strive for monetary values, but I think you can create happiness in any situation by recognizing gratitude, recognizing things that you have already.
Well, and now as Take 2 Minutes keeps growing, as you start, we were talking a little bit about the studies that you had with the positivity training. Where are you at now with Take 2 Minutes? Is there more growth on the horizon? Because this is where I think it could be this could be really big in all the right ways, because we always talk about negatives in life, but when we can really talk about the positives, I can see this train starting to move more and more.
Yeah, there's still a lot of places I want to take it. There's more activities I want to add to it. Right now, it's a small nonprofit. It's pretty much me.
Right.
There's a board of directors which give me some guidance here and there, but ultimately it's me doing all the work. And when you're talking about competing against companies like Calm and Headspace, who are multi-billion-dollar companies with all kinds of VC funding that I don't have, they're able to get your attention a lot more, right? So right now, my goal is just to try to get more subscribers. And it's an interesting, quick story. As I was growing Take 2 Minutes, it was a free service. I just made it free to use because I wanted everyone to kind of be a beta tester for me. And at some point, like I guess, 4 years into it, I had something like 23,000 people using the system, which ended up breaking me literally, because the fact that I wasn't collecting any income or revenue, there's nothing coming in for those users. And as you have 22,000 people using the system, I'm paying for every text message that's received or sent, right? There's a cost to that. There's 14 servers running the system. And so my monthly bill was creeping up to $4,000 to $5,000 to $6,000 a month, which was coming out of my pocket. I had no funding for it. And so, at some point in time, I had to start transitioning to a pay model and start, unfortunately, trying to get some of the free users to start paying or get them to stop using their account. And so right now we're and that all started in 2024. So just earlier this year, it was about June or so, I moved it over to a pay subscription, which a lot of people complained about, and I just tried to respond back. Listen, everything has a cost to it. Without donations, without something, I can't sustain the model. So right now, my focus is awareness. My focus is getting people to recognize it's there, recognize how to use it, and get more users using it. Right now, there's a promotion. If you sign up, you get, I think it's like $9 a month, and you get the first 45 days for free. And you can even sign up a friend for free, or a family member or something like that. So you can get 2 accounts for the price of 1 for that price. And so I'm just trying to create awareness and get people to use the system. Once people are using it, once I start getting more subscribers, my goal is to add more features and functionality. And I still have 5 or 6 activities I want to add to it.
Is there one activity that's pressing that you were like, this is going to be the first big thing, or the next big activity I add, the next big thing we do?
So the biggest activity I have right now is 3 Good Things. It's a wonderful activity.
It's huge.
Going forward, there's one that I liked a lot, and there was actually it's 2 iterations of the same one, and it's a letter. There's one that's a thank you letter, and there's one that's an I'm sorry letter. And I like both those because the way they're supposed to be set up is you prompt someone to write a thank you letter or an apology letter, but you don't send it. You just say, write this, and we're going to present it back to you later on. So you have them write it. It stays in their personal private journal, and 7 days or 30 days later, you remind them about it.
That's cool.
And send it back to them and have them reflect on it, and which is a powerful activity, because if you're writing an apology, maybe 30 days later, you're like, I want to send that. I think it's good. I want to apologize to that person. Or maybe if it's a thank you that you didn't send, you want to send it, or you're reflecting on what you're thanking them about. So it just gives you time to reflect. It's one activity I like a lot. I just haven't added that one yet.
That is really cool. I like that one a lot too. And see, that's where I love this app more and more we're talking, because, the algorithm, we're going to forget eventually, even though we have for maybe a couple of hours, we wrote that letter. If we go back to it that evening, the next day, the next, 2 days, it'll be front of mind, but eventually we will forget about it. So when that 7-day marker hits and it smacks you, there's real growth there. And is this available on Apple and Google Play?
That's a good question. So it's not truly an app on the App Store. It's what's called a progressive web app. So what that means is the website is developed to act like an app. So when you go to the website, it was completely developed to be used on the mobile phone. So it's made for the mobile phone. It looks like an app on the mobile phone. Once it was fully working on the mobile phone, I kind of backed into it being a website. a desktop app. So that it's really meant for the mobile device initially. So it's not an app on the App Store, but it acts like an app on the App Store. You can put a desktop icon on your phone and everything.
That's what I was asking, if you could hit add to home screen audit and all of that.
Yeah.
So that's take2minutes.org. And Mark, before I let you go, we've been talking for almost 40 minutes now, and our Thanksgiving show's getting ready to wrap up here. But I got to ask you, as we're getting ready to go into the Thanksgiving breakfasts, I'm not going to lie to you, I've been promoting our sponsor, Village Dispensary, to get us through maybe some of the in-law questions that are coming up, all that fun stuff. What can we do now, this morning to maybe help ourselves ahead of the hustle and bustle of the holiday weekend?
We're going to go back to gratitude. I think gratitude is always important, especially in the morning. I think gratitude in the morning is the best time to do it. Stop and think about something you're grateful for. And if you're struggling with that, that's okay. Take a little time. Really think about it. Don't give a passive answer. We have some activities in Take 2 Minutes that I think take like a grounding exercise, and we don't have time to go into it. But the point being is, when you stop and give something an effort, that's when you're growing. So if you think to yourself, there's nothing for which I'm grateful right now, that's not the answer. The answer is stop and really think about things you have, things you like, things that happen in your life, and find something you have great gratitude for and make a statement for yourself this morning.
Well, and Mark, thank you so much for filling us in on this. And I hope it keeps growing more and more. Go Google it, take2minutes.org. You can add it to your home screen or just use it when you need it with that subscription service. Mark, always great talking to you, and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, CJ. Thanks for having me on. I very much appreciate it.
And taking a quick break, we'll come back with more and wrap up Thanksgiving morning right after this on RiverBender.com and Roku TV.
Ready for fantastic deals? Head to Village Dispensary, where every day is a celebration. Start your week with 25% off dog walker pre-rolls on Monday. Tuesday, enjoy 25% off Divs gummies. On Wednesday, enjoy 30% off Nevada pens. On Thursday, it's 30% off CQ sodas, margaritas, and more. Friday, enjoy 3.5 grams of Megatron by NGW and Cronuts No. 4 by Paul Bunyan for $25. Visit VillageDispo.com and shop now.
Picture This and More has been a trusted name in the Alton community for more than 30 years, with the last 3 being right here on Broadway. We specialize in quality framing at affordable prices. We also feature works by local artists because we're proud of our community. If you have valued treasures to display and preserve, we're sure to have the perfect fit with our large selection of custom framing and display options. Whatever color, shape, or size, Picture This and More has the look you need. Stop by today and let us help you with your next project.
Do you need to declutter your space? Time to call me, the Queen of Junk. Since 1993, we have grown to be the leader in residential, commercial, and property management junk removal. At Sparks Junk Removal, we are eco-friendly. We recycle, donate, or repurpose items back into our community. Trash is our last resort to the landfill. Plus, with our all-inclusive service, our crews handle everything from labor to lifting and landfill fees. Give us a call or visit our website, sparksjunkremoval.net, to reclaim your space today.
Looking for the best barbecue in Madison County? Head over to Carver's Barbecue in Godfrey, Illinois. From loaded barbecue nachos to mouth-watering pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more, Carver's serves up award-winning flavors you'll love. Family-owned, Carver's is all about fresh, made in-house dishes served daily. Come visit us at 2716 Groveland in Godfrey, or give us a call at 618-467-9999. Order online, get it catered, or stop by for the best smoked meats around. Where great flavors meet family tradition, you'll find Carver's Barbecue.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
I still have some love to give. Won't you show me
Get on over here. It's time to wrap up this Thanksgiving morning as far as I'm concerned. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, guys. I always have fun doing this show. Over the last year, millions of people have tuned in, and that is seriously what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for the fact that this show continues to grow, and it's because of all of your love and support. Now, remember, you're going to get an email from me, and some of you already have, about next year if you're business owners, and you want to partner up. I'd be very thankful for that as we continue to start off 2025 on such a strong note. But I'm thankful for all of you that have tuned in each and every day of the work week, from 9 to 11, Monday through Friday, and on demand all the time at RiverBender.com/Daily Show. All right, get ready for that Thanksgiving feast. Get ready for Black Friday shopping, and get ready for more of our Daily Show tomorrow live at 9. Until then, try your best to stay out of jail.